Without further ado, bro, welcome to the podcast, Nick.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
The first episode, bro. Do you know what I mean? So bear with us.
Yeah, it's all good. Bear with me.
but yeah, thank you for doing this. Obviously, me and Michael spoke and that I knew to get on first and stuff like that. And we thought you'd be perfect because you took obviously a massive risk, and now you're going back into the world and taking even more risk going over to Australia, which we'll get into. But I guess as we start, before we do like get into the big thing, we know each other from Turner Duckworth, right?
We do indeed. Oh, we go way back.
Way back, lad. And the project that I guess was the catalyst for what you're doing now, Taylor's. I worked on with you a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And whilst I was doing my shitty bits of typography, Nick got really into it, you know what I mean, and took it. I remember, lad, that like when we got on it and we was like a couple of days into it, we started drawing bits now, just pulling reference off and whacking it on pack and stuff like that. And you was drawing it and you went home one night, you came home the night after and you was like, check this. And then every other day you come in and be like, check this. So that was it for you, weren't it?
Yeah, it did kind of steamroll. As soon as that first one kind of started getting developed, everything kind of went from there. Because I remember, we were just pulling out ref and like loads of different pieces of type. But then I remember Gav getting a bit pissed because we weren't actually delivering any content. It was all just like hypothetical. So as soon as that first one was drawn, it was just, shit, maybe I can do this. And then it all kind of just, developed from there.
Yeah, a lot of it was on the iPad and stuff, weren't it, to begin with, I think.
No, I didn't have an iPad back then. That was just kind of drawing with a pencil on a sketch pad sort of thing. And then I brought it onto Photoshop eventually with like some texture brushes and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. It was only later on that I got an iPad, and then everything became so much easier. Like that's a fantastic tool for any like new lettering artist. Is just get an iPad and try it out.
What software are you using on your iPad?
Procreate.
Okay. That's what you're using it, Chris?
Yeah, but like it's not so. I mean, yeah, but it's more for just like rough sketches of, like, you know what I mean. Pick a bit of ref ups, draw around it a little bit, mock something up, and then I don't use it to the.
I'm sure you both use it differently, but yeah.
But yeah, we do. I do like that sketchiness a bit as well. Do you know what I mean? I think Lewis is going to try and pull up Taylor so we can have it as a reference and see it in its entirety. But I remember we worked with Rachel Joy a little bit, didn't we? Like to get like the basis of it and stuff like that.
Yeah, so Rachel, I kind of like.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that vibe. Boy. Look at that. Naughty lad. Naughty.
Oh, they looked good. I was really happy seeing them in shops as well because they actually like were printed super, super well. All the textures came through really well. Like all the gold on the espresso was perfect. Like Taylor's as a client were brilliant because they just wanted it to be as good as it could be. Like even hiring Rachel Joy to do all the painting of it all and getting Rob Clark to perfect the type, it just everything came together because the client was so eager to make sure it looked good. And I think that like collaboration between everyone just made this project an absolute joy. Yeah,
and obviously like it goes without saying, obviously Miles Marshall, who works on it, the creative director at Turner Duckworth. But it's nice, man. And like the system created for the master brand, that window sits in place with the graphic holding shape being the. It's really nice.
I love the way the type wraps around the pack as well. Like you still get enough of a hint of the type on the front of the pack to understand what's in the pack. It wraps a nice.
She drew these up fucking massive, didn't she? As well?
They were big.
Really?
Like massive on like big ass pieces of wood. Or something like that, I think. But yeah, they're beautiful, man. So what was it? So you basically drew the basis of it, weren't it, for this one, like the architecture of it, and then it got passed on before obviously.
Yeah. So I kind of drew. They're not too far from what they are. Like my naive, early days of lettering kind of drew these kind of as they are, but then Rob Clark took the basis of that and just tweaked it, made it perfect, made them like all the thicks and thins exactly how they should be if you were using it with a pen, all that sort of stuff. His expert eye just like crafted it to the nth degree.
Yeah, they're awesome.
It must be so amazing to work with people like that, because I'm sure you took so many learnings from your initial rough sketches to how it would then developed by these guys.
Yeah, I think seeing the direct comparison of like, Rob Clark sent us a PDF back and you'd see my one, then he'd flick to the next one and see his, and it's like, oh yeah, holy shit. Like I would never have known how to tweak that A to make it perfectly, but I can, like, seeing a direct comparison is really, really useful.
Yeah.
And then working with Rachel as well, like, I mean, she's the pretty much the sole reason I started painting, because seeing her do it and it looked so beautiful. And then when we got the actual, pieces of wood back and you could see the texture of the paint and like the depth of it, I was like, oh yeah, that's so cool. I want to do that.
That's what I really like about seeing with your work as well, is that there's lots of sort of digital iterations, but to see the stuff that you've done on wood and on decks. I love seeing the skate decks. I think the first one I saw was the oh shit one. Was that the first one you did, or it's one of the first ones that I saw anyway? It just looks beautiful.
That was my first skate deck. Yeah, that was a guy. Like I used to do illustration back at uni, and like some guy in my hometown had bought loads of my shit on skate decks before, and he was just like, yeah, I'll have another one. Yeah, let's just give it a go. So he's always been open to just letting me do my thing. So having that freedom to just write some big ass swear word on a skate deck and paint it up was just liberating, man. It was wicked.
Did we have that one as a ref? Did you send that through to Lewis?
I didn't send it through, unfortunately. No.
We've got loads. So I get what's before we actually do show through where you got to. So after that project, then what was the next thing you started to work on? Because obviously you worked at Turner Duckworth, didn't you, for how long after that project, and then how long after that project to making the leap? And what was you working on the like in between workings, so to say?
I think it was about another year or so.
Yeah.
I think I left TD just as these were coming out.
Yeah.
I think obviously the pandemic kind of slowed everything down. Mm-hmm. I think these were gonna come out beforehand, but then I wouldn't have left TD if it wasn't the pandemic, because I wouldn't have time to then develop the skills that I needed to then leave. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. But I mean, the pandemic was kind of the starting point for the work I was doing. So like on the PDF that Lewis has, the next one, it says it'll be okay. And that was, so this was the first piece of digital lettering I did, where this was just before lockdown. Everyone was like kind of getting a bit shit scared of what was going on. No one really knew what was going on. And it was more of just a kind of a calming thing for me to do, just to go, okay, it's probably going to be all right. It'll be fine. So that's kind of how I started developing all the lettering skills, was just writing phrases which hopefully brought some peace to my mind or other people's minds.
Nice.
Like the Instagram I started on was called like ISO lettering, as a little pun on isolate. It was about lettering to calm people, I guess.
What a great time to start it as well. I feel like the pandemic was such a good opportunity for some people to develop the skills or learn new skills. I've seen lots of people picking up a guitar or, I don't know, training weights at home or doing lots of different activities. Loads of people started running, but yeah, it's so cool to see that, you started this journey then, and it's become something that you can monetize as well, which is
that's sick. Yeah, man, something that you look. That's interesting as well. So have you ever felt like, since you have been monetizing it, has it become a job to you at any point? Like, I know it's, you know what I'm saying, but because you've been making income from it, as if, you know what I mean?
Well, I guess, there's always, when you monetize something, at the moment with the work I've been doing, it's kind of half and half between, the client has an idea and then I have my style. So we kind of meet in the middle, where when I'm doing it for myself, I can just like bash it out, put it down, do it exactly how I want. It's still, I think, you have to sacrifice a little bit of what you want to do sometimes, but it's also way more rewarding because you get someone on the other end going like, this is fucking sick. And it's just, so they obviously come to you because they like your style, and it is very rewarding to bring their life, their idea to life. That's what we did as designers. It's just another creative outlet for that sort of, that sort of reward, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. What was the first client you had then?
Oh, the first one that wasn't like a mate. Was like it was for a tattoo artist, and he had his station where he had all these inks and all that sort of stuff, and it had a little backdrop to it, which was about like 650 millimeters by like 250 or something. And it was just, oh yeah, can you just do me the word tattoo? Do it any style you want. Just I want it to look cool. And I was like, yes, I fucking get it. That's how I wanted to, I'm really into tattoos and sign painting as well. So like, being able to marry the two was kind of always how I wanted to go. And so that one came off the back of doing a tattoo sign on my own, just one that I wanted to do. And then someone saw that and went, oh yeah, I want one of those for my thing. So that was the first one. I shed a little tear when I got that because I was like, this is exactly the sort of work I want to be doing. It's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, it was wicked.
Oh, I love that, Nick. That's sick, bro. I seen a job the other day where I thought of you with you see that Liquid Death job. I don't know how fresh it is. I've seen it a bit knocking about. You seen it, Lewis? Just pull that up for us, please, if you don't mind. I think it's basic. It's water. But the typography is banging. Do you know
That's
what I mean?
so fucking metal. What the hell?
Sick, innit? Do you know? I love how they've gone like a relentless kind of inspired look and feel, but then it's something that's essentially good for you and it's water. Do you know what I mean? But so like, would you look to what like album covers and things like that? Have you ever had any of them kind of jobs that lead you down this path? Do you know what I mean?
I haven't. I would love that. That would be great. I would love to do album covers, but I guess it's kind of hard. Like the digital work that I do, I think a client would need a bit of like vision and imagination to see how it would go from just like one word or like a phrase into something like an album cover, because it is a little like different. You need a lot more detail in an album cover and a lot more communication, where I've just been saying the word like lolly or something,
Yeah. So that's another thing. Do you sorry Michael, after you.
No, I was just going to try and pull it back into a little bit more of a chronological order, because I could just fire things at you all day.
Yeah, man.
I just want to know a little bit more about like, when was it? When did you spent this time at Turner Duckworth, and when did you just have that like fuck it moment? Like this is me. Like I'm gonna throw away my career, which is safe. Like I get money that comes in like once a month. Like it pays my rent, it pays my bills. It means I can have a beer, or like I can do rock. I know you're into climbing. It pays for my climbing. Mm-hmm. When did you have that moment where you was like, you know what, I'm going to take the leap now? Because I think this is like something that, like, especially watching something like this, everyone's looking for that little nugget of inspiration to also have that fuck it moment. So like, when did you have yours, and sort of how did you overcome that?
I mean, it wasn't easy, but I guess like the pandemic as well, because we were all just sat at home and being lucky enough to have a job through that, you just saved a fuck ton of money. It seemed like the right time to do it when I got that. And also every time lunchtime came around, I was like, oh shit, I'm just gonna nip to the shed and do some painting. And then as soon as like 5:30 hit, I was like, I'm gonna just turn my laptop off and like go do some painting. And even when doing some projects, I just like see one of my sketches on the side or something and think, oh, I could just tweak that A or whatever. It just overtook everything that I was thinking of. So at that point, it was like, well, I can do it now because of the situation we're in, so I may as well. Sort of thing.
What was you doing, Christian, during your lunchtimes in the pandemic?
What would I'd work through it sometime, most of the time.
Oh, you'd work through it. Lad, I'd pick my kettlebell up and I'd be swinging that around for half an hour, smash some lunch, and be back on it.
It's great, Nick. I love that, to have that thing, lad, and it not be seen as like a chore to do. Not that design, it's sometimes it can be, when you've not got the idea or something like that. And to have something that can just it's meditative in a way, isn't it? You know what I mean?
The painting especially is definitely meditative, because you do all the creative part of it beforehand when you're designing it and you're deciding what colors, how the type interlocks. The actual creation of it is just a skill that you practice.
100%. So who do you look to for like I want to say rules, for lack of a better word, in a way, but like the way things should be, and then do you look at them and like break them and do them your way? Do you know what I mean? So do you look at like a typography book and see the fucking rules set out, like the 10 Commandments? You've got to turn this way, you've got to hold it this way, you've got to do it this way. Or is it just kind of like go at it in a how, like internally kind of thing in a way? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously letters look right when they're done a certain way. And you can't fuck with that too much.
But why do they look right when I know what you're saying, but what makes them look right in a certain way? Do you know what I mean? Like when
because originally when they were first drawn and designed, they're done with brush pens and square pens, so that they naturally create certain forms. So that's what we are used to seeing. So that's how they look. So then you need to take that into account when especially if you're designing on like an iPad, where you're using all these like computer brushes. You just have to have it in your head that's like, okay, this is the way it should kind of look, and this is how downstrokes look.
Yeah.
Because when I'm designing like juicy type, for example, that's the ones with like the big bell bottoms. You know, I'm not drawing it with a big fat brush. I'm drawing it with just a pencil essentially, and you have to just think about making sure that the juicy bit is where it would be if you were using a pen.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I'm doing it like roughly, again, if it's reference for a project, Jesus Christ, my character forms are everywhere. You know what I mean? I'm just like so fixated on the concept. Get like a rough kind of, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's obviously, it's still the same processes. You start with, if you kind of want to know, you kind of think, okay, I want to do this roughly like a circle, say it's going on a badge or something. And you just kind of do a circle and you write it out in like, I'll write it out in a block letter, even if I'm going to be doing swirls and swooshes or whatever. And you just build it up from there.
Yeah.
You start with that, and then you think, okay, maybe that bit can be thicker and thinner, and you just sketchy pens until you get to the final layer, and then you can kind of go over it with a proper one and see how it works.
Like, I've seen you do it, bro, and it almost drives me anxiety mad. Have you watched his videos, Michael?
Lad, when you've got that stick,
bro. I do not know where you don't just go, what?
It's happened plenty of times.
Has it?
I don't put those videos online.
Lad, it's so satisfying as well, but when it completes and the brush stroke just flicks.
Yeah, man.
The thing for me is I'll start if I feel like I want to pick up a project like this, like, okay, I'm gonna try painting. I'm gonna do some nice typography today. I get 10 minutes into it, and then I just want it finished. Like I just haven't got the patience. Like, it's the patience for me. So you must be so patient.
Yeah.
I think that's what kind of like I enjoy about this, is that there's no rush to doing it. You can't rush it because you have to wait for the paint to dry. You can't pull the stroke any quicker because you'll fuck it up. You know, there's just it is just a calming thing, especially during lockdown. You know, I wasn't handling working from home very well. It was really stressful for me. So having this thing that was really meditative was just a godsend. You know, it was different than design. It was different than stressing about creating a perfect idea and then making that look beautiful. It was just, I'm going to make a cool looking A and paint it. You know, it's just fun.
This is the bridge into art, isn't it, where it doesn't have to, it's subjective. Like what you think looks cool is subjective. It's not objective like designers. So that you can express yourself a little bit more, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Like I think I got into this doing work that I wanted to do. So I wanted to make something that I thought looked cool, and it didn't matter if anyone else did. You would hope that someone else likes it, but it doesn't really matter when you're doing it, you know, in your lunch times and after work. It's only when you start monetizing it then you have to think about that. But obviously by that point you've already created a visual style for yourself that it fits into what you wanted to do anyway.
Yeah, people are buying into your look, your style. They're not saying, they might have approached you and gone, oh yeah, but can you do letter forms like this? And I don't know if that's happened, but I guess people are looking specifically for like the colors you use, the shadows that you use. That's what I love about your typography, the depth that you get, like that 3D feel. Things feel like they're lifting off the page, lifting off the skateboard. It's beautiful.
Cheers, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that sort of stuff. Like, I think obviously practicing that on the iPad first, and then moving into the painting. You know, it's definitely a leap, and I think the colors really are way more vibrant when you paint it. Like the paints are fantastic, the metallic paints. They're just vibrant as hell. You know.
Do they work differently than normal paints then, like with the way you kind of finger it on?
I think because obviously they're for signs, for shops and stuff, so they're enamel, they dry like metal, so they're just rock solid, and they last for years and years and years. Whereas an acrylic paint will, you know, just wash and disintegrate.
Yeah, nice.
So on this one, where we're looking at the outline, is that the metallic that's causing the reflection, or is that the way that you painted it? Like
so this is on glass rather than on wood.
Wow.
So basically, you paint on the back of it, but what you do first is called glass gilding. You use gold leaf, which is like the thinnest gold you can get, and you kind of wash the glass with like a size or like a water glue sort of thing. And you put the gold on and you paint on the back of the gold, and then you rub everything else off. So that's gold leaf that's creating that outline.
Yeah.
And the inline is gold leaf again, but using oil size rather than mortar size. And size is just the glue that the gold sticks to. So like glass gilding is I guess a more technical version of sign painting.
Wow.
That is sick, bro. What's your most proudest piece?
Actually, probably that one. I really, really, really like that one because that type was I created my own kind of branding and logo using this sort of type, which I thought, So I kind of took that and then created some more letter forms from it, and then this was my first big glass gilding project. And it was a lot of work because there's so many curves on it. And then I was trying to blend all the paints on all the curves, which took absolutely forever. And it's really tricky, or I found it really tricky anyway. So I think there was a lot of work that went into this one. And it was like I was saying, this was for me. There was no client here. It was just exactly the piece that I wanted to do with like the pinkest background. Just anything pink is brilliant. Get some like a really, the pink and blue contrast I always appreciate, and as much bling as you can with the gold. It just sums me up in a piece. And the word as well, like that's how I got into doing lettering, was just doing words which I thought were fun as well. So yeah.
I think it's great, lads. Awesome. Listen, take us through a few of these. So obviously we got you to send us a few across. So Lewis, if you want to just flick through. I know we've already flicked through a few of them, but we didn't talk about most of them. I
mean, there's a few up for a flower shop.
Yeah.
One more up. So yeah, this was my first, like, I guess the coffee sign on the left was my first proper signage job, I guess. Everything else were like art pieces for people's homes or something. Like this one it served a purpose, it was to advertise that they had takeaway coffee. So this was a kind of a big moment because they had this sign and said, "Oh, can you paint it up and make it look nice?" Mm-hmm. So I was really happy to do this, and then later on they came back and asked me to do this Flowers Less Ordinary sign in their shop, which is really big. And that was my first like in situ job as well, where I had to drive to the shop and then just pounce it all up and paint it all up. And
she's over your shoulder watching you.
Yeah, literally, yeah. She was just like there selling flowers, making me coffee and shit like that. It was a great day because also like what's lovely about that is that she was a really nice person. So we just chatted all day about how she got into flowers and like the colleges we went to and all this sort of stuff and the creative process, because we were both creative but in just different ways. So it was quite interesting to hear each other's craft.
Yeah, lovely, lad. Lovely. And then another one. So scroll down, go like 3 down, Lewis, to the because this was a ghost. Well, essentially not that one. Sorry, this was it a ghost sign or what? Not a ghost sign as such, but it was inspired by you tell me more before I badly paraphrase it.
I mean, you've used the right words. Yeah, it was a ghost sign. So a ghost sign is basically like a sign that was done years and years and years ago, and it's faded over time. Usually on brick, it kind of just crumbles away, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's just like a little. The ghost of the sign is left on the wall. Actually this was the sister of the person who owns the flower shop, so which is pays what man. But so she got in contact and they live in Hammersmith, and I think it's important to their family, the Palais de Danse in Hammersmith. So she got in contact saying, can you recreate this sign in your style? So the original sign wasn't 3D. It was just like the Palais de Danse, the Talk of London, Hammersmith. So it was really interesting playing with the 3D. Which way does it go? What colours should it be? That sort of thing. And she just wanted it as kind of Art Deco-y as it could be.
I love it. Do you know where they've put it?
Yeah. So like as soon as you walk into their house, they have like a hallway with the tiles on the floor are the cream and the red and the green. So we took all those colors and put it into this sign. So you walk in and you walk on those tiles and you see this humongous, it's like 2.8 meters or something like that. It's massive. So you see that in the hallway and you kind of walk past it as you go up the stairs to their house.
Fucking epic. It
was dude, it was one of my favorite projects I've worked on, just because of the size of it, and I can use my biggest brushes. You can pull like the biggest lines. It's great.
Yeah, nice.
Is it framed?
No. So I painted the borders on there with like gold paint and then a dark green paint. And then I think it's just
That's what I'm
screwed.
saying. Your shadows just throw me off. They look so convincing. You know?
Yeah, they're great. Scroll through the rest of them, Lewis. Let's see what else we've got working with there. They're nice, lads. We need to get you to do a What Does Your Mum Think one, lad. I know we're going to get into the next section of the pod now where we kind of talk about what you're doing next.
Yeah.
But before you do, you know what I mean, leap over to Australia, we need to get you to do a little something. I love that one, the pink on pink, the pink on purple.
The do one.
It's absolutely, yeah, that's lovely. That's
this was great. So this is when I was, I think it was the first like juicy type, is kind of what they call it, piece that I did. And this one I was inspired by this guy called Alec Tier, who's a really, really fantastic lettering artist, but he was doing these incredibly textured illustrations of lettering, just like a big ampersand or something like that. So I wanted to just take that style and trying to just practice. You know, a lot of this is practice. You know, they're not for a client or anything, it's just for me. I want to see what can be done, what I can do. And there's so many good artists out there that you just kind of take a little bit of the inspiration from them.
Yeah, nice.
But again, what I like about this is I love the way everything links together. That's kind of what I love to do with this sort of type, like the way that you kind of E falls back on itself. And again, the phrasing, you know, just do one. It feels like, I think that's kind of me, you know. It's just a bit tongue in cheek, a bit kind of stupid. Yeah, because everything we were doing at TD, you know, it's serious work. You know, we're doing things that go in shops, so it's nice to just kind of get my iPad out and then draw something stupid.
Yeah. With that, I think the go to the beer fonts. This is a good way in, right? So
yeah,
it's a good way into talking about Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us about this project, bro.
So there's a really good design agency called Co-Partnership in Australia, in Sydney, and we got talking about these beer labels. They saw some of the lettering I was doing and thought I'd be a good fit to design a bunch of limited edition beer labels for this brewery, Little Creatures, who are in Australia. And of course I was like ecstatic about this because I absolutely love beer and I love lettering. So this was completely...
What could go wrong, bro?
I did. It was an absolutely perfect project. And they were great. They were absolutely great. Like the first one, they gave me like a rough like mood board of images of how they thought one of the beers should be. And then they just like, oh yeah, go away. This was the Engineer's Sniper was the first one that I did. And just came back with like 5 or 6 different ways in, like really sketchy, sketchy concepts. And then it was just really quick back and forth, really easy clients to work with. They were just super excited about the work that we were doing together. So I think I've done like 6 or 7 overall at the moment. There might be a few more in the works. But yeah, this was such a great way of practicing what I was doing because they're all completely different and they all had to like fit a certain style, to represent what the beer was. It was just a great project. It really was. I feel like I learned a lot doing all this.
It's a set, but they're all different personalities, aren't they? So it's like, what a great little job that is.
Are they in context as well there? Sorry to interrupt, but like if you scroll down, did you send them us in context?
Yeah,
yeah. So this one in particular was there's a beer festival called Gabs, Great Australian Beer Festival. Yeah. But so Little Creatures had a stall there, and they were releasing this espresso stoutini at that festival. So they just created the whole stall based on this design. So this one was a bit different because Co-Partnership had the kind of idea that they wanted, and they just wanted me to bring it to life and like make sure that espresso feels like it's comes straight from an espresso machine, and make sure the illustrations are right, all that sort of stuff. So this was really rewarding to do, and then seeing it, if you scroll down one more, you can see it on the tab. Seeing it on the tab was just absolutely fantastic. And nice. Then they released the Sunsetter one there as well, and I just really annoyed that I couldn't be there and see it myself.
But you will be soon, though, innit?
I will be soon. Yeah.
So I think this is a really interesting point. So obviously, I think it's really inspiring how you've taken that leap and left the design world, so to say, still stayed well connected to it, but done something a little bit kind of like more in line with your what's good for your head, so to say, at times. And now you're going back into the fuckery.
It's a good way of putting it.
So obviously we share the love for it, but what's made you want to go back into it, say?
I mean, I still really like design, obviously, and co-partnership do a lot of really, really good, like they specialize in alcohols and like wines and spirits. So a lot of that is logo work, which is lettering. So I think it's a good medium ground between what I was doing at TD and then the lettering I've been doing both digitally and analog. So I think it's a perfect middle ground. And one thing I really miss is that I'm painting on my own in my little studio here. I miss the vibe, the creativity of people around me, being inspired by everyone around me. So I'm very, very, very excited about getting back into a studio.
Yeah, nice. So that's it, innit? So you go into Australia.
That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's also really cold here. And it's really warm over there.
Where are you by the second, Nick?
I'm in Staffordshire.
Staffordshire. That's where your family is, right?
Yeah. So I'm.
Because I feel like we missed this little part out as well, right? So you was designing in London.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you moved back home.
I did during the pandemic. As soon as the first lockdown was going to hit, I was like, I can't stay in London. We didn't have a living room in our flat. It was sort of like small. And then I was like, I know I've got a nice family home in the Midlands. So I've been very lucky to be able to escape kind of the suffocating smallness of London when you can't go anywhere. It's been lovely being back, and then that's helped me just I've reconnected with people here as well. It's been actually a really nice experience, as difficult as it's been at times, and I do really miss London. But obviously I kind of, as soon as this Australia thing started to pick up, I was like, well, I'm not going back to London, so I've got to stay here until I get out there.
Yeah, nice. What does your mum think?
I think she's very excited for me, and she's very excited to have a place to stay in Australia when she comes to visit.
Nice. So have you started a gaffer over there and stuff?
So just this weekend I finally. It's been a pain, but I got one like 10-minute walk to work. It's like breweries around the corner and shit. It's
of course it is.
It's right up my alley.
Of course it is. So what's that? Is it shared space? Are you living with a creative, or is it on your own, or? Yeah,
so it's a shared space. There's two other people. I chatted to one of them on the phone while she was showing me the place. She works in a publishing house. Seems really cool. Yeah. She's really good at Mario Kart apparently, so I'm really excited to give her a game.
Say nothing, bro.
Yeah.
Nice.
She was saying her boyfriend is a rock climbing metalhead who likes craft beer.
So it sounds like you.
Oh,
that's perfect. How long is it until you go?
11 days.
Wow.
Yeah, the 15th I leave.
Wow.
I know, it's crept up, man. It really has. I still got to buy a suitcase.
I think a good thing to talk about as well. Like, how did you go about sorting out like visas and stuff like that? Then how did that work? Do you know what I mean? If someone was going to take this leap as well.
Well, I guess the Australian visa I'm on is the work holiday visa to begin with, and then you can work for any one company for 6 months under that visa, and then after that, that's essentially my probation period, and then they'll sponsor me outright after that.
Yeah.
So, but Australia is really easy because we're in the Commonwealth. You can just get the work holiday visa, and they're so eager to get people out there. They're refunding holiday visas if you get there before April now, which is good. So yeah, they're really open to it.
What are you doing, Chris? Are you just asking for a friend, or what are you doing?
I'm asking for the people. I think, like, again with that, I think doing like making a leap like that and doing something like that, Nick, is like really fucking daunting. Do you know what I'm saying? To leave your fucking comfort zone, and like I said, the start, I think of everything that you've done so far, I think it is really inspiring for everyone listening. But so like they're the things in it where you think, is it possible? Can I do it? Well, like, speaking to you, that it is really, for anyone listening, it is really accessible to do. Do you know what I mean? In fact, think how you've channeled that energy into something that you love. You've experimented with it for a little while. Do you know what I mean? And now you're going back into the other aspects of it where you still love. Now you're going to be thinking about the ideas again.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I mean? The little negative spacing and that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm dead excited about that, and a lot of the stuff they do is I'm looking forward to learning and working within the craft of what they do a lot more. It's going to be exciting.
So they do some nice work. Can you just pull them up, Lewis, if you don't mind? They do some nice work. I had a little dabble through the work the other day. Have you had a look at like studio stuff? Like they've got a nice studio space. Are they in the studio now with all the madness?
I think they're going back tomorrow. It's been a bit of a rocky situation at the moment. But yeah, I think they're going back tomorrow.
Oh, there you
go.
Because
that would be good if I was over there to be excited back in the studio and then not being in the studio.
Yeah.
We've got a friend who moved over to Australia recently as well, Kev. Have you met Kev before? Has Nick met Kev?
Yeah, you have Kev.
Yeah, I met Kev.
Yeah, you know Kev.
Kev moved over there. Go on, sorry.
Was he the 3D guy?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. So Kev moved over there a few months ago, and he started freelancing. And I think he's in a similar position where he's sort of enjoying the pros of being a freelancer, but also he's sick of being sat at home. Like he's just moved to Australia. And he's just fucking sat in a flat doing the work. And I think he wants to be integrated, just exactly what you're saying. He wants to be in that like studio environment, bouncing ideas back and forth, being a part of something. And I think as good as the lockdown's been to sort of to set some of these things up, people starting these different crafts or hobbies or whatever, I think it can be quite lonely, can't it? So I think I get, like, especially speaking with Kev as well, like I get why you've had your fun now, and it's sort of you can carry these new skills and sort of go back into the industry.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You summed it up really well. You know, I've had a great time developing these new skills, but yeah, I think then applying them to the craft that I studied and worked in for the past 5 years, it's going to be really good to get back into it with a new kind of mindset about what I want from the work I'm doing. And a renewed love of being in the studio after being 2 years. Well, yeah, I guess it's been nearly 2 years now not being in the studio. Cannot wait. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, bouncing off everyone. Nice.
Because that's like, I wouldn't even be going to Australia if it wasn't for like the people I met in the TD studio. Because obviously Georgia left TD to go into a partnership, and we've kept in contact. And it's all about like, you know, I always love that quote, the Anthony Burrell poster. You know, everyone loves it. The work hard and be nice to people, because that's exactly it. Yeah. You work hard, you do the work you want to do, you be nice to people, and then those people open doors for you, and you can open doors for them. It's all collaboration and just being together, you know.
Yeah, it is, man. And that being around that constant source of inspiration, and like people doing things outside of design too, and people who are active in other elements of their life, you know what I mean, all plays a massive part, doesn't it? Like I love it, like, you know what I mean, I love being around people who are doing sick shit. And
yeah, exactly.
Again, you know what I mean, pulling it back to why we've done this podcast, bro, like to talk to you, and like it's really inspiring for me and Michael, and like I said, everyone else. Let's just fucking do shit. Let's just keep doing shit.
Yeah, exactly. Just do stuff. Let's make the world a prettier place.
Yeah, bro, it's nice, lad. Just keep scrolling through. There's some nice bits, haven't they?
Yeah, man. I didn't have a really good mix of like kind of crafty, sophisticated stuff.
I've been pissed up all the time, lad. All they do is piss.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be wicked.
That's nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
This is one of the ones that I really liked. So I was talking about this in my kind of cover letter when I applied. I was just saying how smart and sweet using the shape of the label is the idea here. I just think it's really clever, and
that's beautiful. That
it's simple, because the idea is super simple, but it's really well crafted.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, I can't wait till this shit like this is in my portfolio. It's gonna be wicked.
Yeah, bro.
Is there any other pieces on here which really sort of drawn your eye to them?
There's that one. It's called Mr. Black's Coffee Liqueur.
Oh yeah, the reveal at the back.
Yeah, it's been on everyone's Pinterest board for the past.
Yeah, man, it is.
It is.
Transparency.
Yeah. Basically, this like the pack is just beautiful. It's got the coffee liqueur in it. It's just a simple label at the bottom, but then as the coffee liqueur comes out, there's like an illustration on the back, which you can't see when it's full. The reveal is really nice.
Where is this guy? I don't think I've seen it, you know. Maybe I would have done once you pull it up.
Definitely.
I think you would have done, yeah. It's one of those that went around. Oh, and that's really sweet as well. I just love the shaka. And again, the finishes they use are really great, and that's one thing they were talking to me about when I was talking to them about working there, was just learning about the paper stocks and like the different types of printing we can do. Because I mean, TD was great. We always tried to do that, but then I felt like we had some pushback on the clients for like budget and all that sort of stuff. But because these guys are just doing, one bottle, kind of they specialize in thinking about the paper stocks a bit more.
Yeah, I like the little idea, little thing. See if you can
what's this coffee one? I want to see it.
Yeah. See if you can
Sorry,
find
Lewis.
that. And then on the end of that, Nick, I think we're good there, bro. Do you know what I mean? That was lovely, lad.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Thank you so much for taking the time, lads. Honestly, we really appreciate it. Do you know what I mean? And if we can take this as if you can take this,
Go ahead.
If you can take this as well as like a little briefing before you go, just fit it in for us to do like a little what does your mum think? What we're going to try and do now for the next like 5 or 10 minutes. Again, this is really raw, but at the end of every conversation we have, every podcast that we do, we're going to bring up some recent articles that are out in the world, some tailored obviously to you, and then some that are kind of recent, and then just give our opinion on it and see what we're thinking. Do you know what I mean?
Cool.
Or for you, it'll be a fresh reaction. For me and Michael, we kind of see, already kind of fingered them. But Lewis, if you want to put, it's a lovely job, this. If you want to, yeah. So I thought this is interesting. I know Michael can bounce off this with a completely another culture. You know what I'm saying? They're completely. But like interesting looking at typography and how it's treated within different languages. Do you know what I mean? And obviously the kind of different characters that then gives you, and what doors that are kind of opens when you get these weird little characters and stuff like that from different typefaces. We scroll through this. These are sick. Like, these are awesome.
Nice.
Great. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Flow to them.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
That's almost like a Milika Favre illustration.
Yeah. Gorgeous, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And again, they use different brushes and stuff to like do these letters originally, so they'll have to think about that when they're creating these pieces of work.
I mean, again, like tying it back, if you've got a client who's working, do you know what I mean, in I don't know, Germanic letter forms or something like that, do you know what I mean? Or I know Michael's got a reference there about like Chinese type forms and things, like, you know what I mean? That would be an interesting project, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. It'd be a big learning curve, I think, not knowing like the language or the forms. It'd be interesting to see, because I would create something and then someone who's fluent in the writing style will go like, what the fuck is that?
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I guess that goes back to what I was trying to say before at the start, on there, like midway through the pod, where like the rules that come with the nuances that with like an A should read like this. If it was in Arabic and then beautiful Arabic kind of like type forms, how the fuck do we know? Do you know what I mean? So you'd have to delve that, you know what I mean?
I think you always need to know the rules to be able to break the rules. I think that's a solid thing to take forward. That's how I always think anyway. Like, I don't want to just kind of do something haphazardly and hope it looks good. Yeah. If I want something to look quirky, I want to know why it looks quirky, where it should look, and then how can I then take that and make it a bit different.
They're great.
Lewis, could you pull that image up, which I sent you before? So I've been dabbling at a bit of Chinese for the past few years, and this is in Chinatown in Manchester, and guys, it's fucking sick. I love it. So do you know about Manchester sort of owning the bee, the working bee?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the bee is the symbol of Manchester, and what they've done is they've took the Hanzi, which is the letter, the letter forms in Chinese, and this basically the restaurant's called Manchester, but they've took the first word man, which is pronounced man in Chinese, and they've turned it into a bee, but it reads perfectly in Chinese as man.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah, perfectly.
Oh, that's sweet, that lad. I love that.
That's amazing.
I fucking love
these
that
are
shit.
things that like we probably miss as we're walking down the street. So Lewis, if you could pull something else up for me, it's called Jia Gu Wen. It's spelled JIAGUWEN.
That's
a fantastic observation. Someone's thought about that, lad.
Yeah, that's really smart.
I love it.
Yeah, nice. So I just want to show you.
Do you want to just whack that in the chat for me? There we go. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, it's a bit of a blag, that one.
Yeah, a bit of a mouth.
So this is it basically means the oracle, and it's the like original pictograms that Chinese letter forms started from. And when you look at them, it's just amazing, like how the language has moved on and how people used to read these pictograms. So if you click on that second one, that second image at the top, like the big the white box, yeah, and if you could pull those up a little bit. So my speaking and my listening's getting good in Chinese, but my writing, like, I'm not really in there yet. But I recognise a few of these, and like you will as well, like all of you will. So if you like look at the first 1 and 2, like that's basically number 1, number 2. I mean, it's just a line, ER. If you look at the one which is, it looks like a crown. That's actually mountains.
Oh, cool.
And if you look at the symbol just underneath that, that is the current version of it. So the current Hanzi. If you look at the one next to that, that's river. If you scroll down a little bit on that, Lewis, there's one for person. And like again, like the way that they use these symbols to communicate is really nice.
So what are these? So would you write with these? Would you put these into a sentence? If I was saying person?
Yeah. So like these are thousands of years old. They probably would have been fucking scratched into stone and all sorts. Like they would use these to communicate.
Right. Sorry.
The language basically. Yeah. If you go across, where's the guy? Go up.
The gorgeous lad.
They are cool, aren't they? All right. So if you go all the way to the right on that second line, that's the symbol means ren, which means people. So it looks, if you look at that, it looks like a man sort of leaning over a little bit. And even if you look at the new symbol of that, the sort of the contemporary Hanzi version of that, it looks like a man walking or a woman walking. So I just think it's so beautiful. Lewis, if you can also just pull up quickly, it's called Chinesey. This was something that's
fantastic.
Like, you probably would have seen this before, but again, this was something which like really helped me start to learn Chinese. I can't remember.
I want to say Norma Bar, but it wasn't Norma Bar, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Was it not?
I thought it was. Is it Norma Bar? It's legit though. If you just pull up the little book, Lewis, if you can, if you just type it in on Google, it'll pull up, like, show some nice pages open. So have you used this to learn some bits, yeah?
100%, yeah. Like, these books are fantastic.
It's really interesting. So that's, I guess, where these books come from, innit? That's the fucking thread, right? So what you've just looked at to inspire the type forms that is today.
Absolutely.
You flip it back to this.
So if you can see the one there, Lewis, where it's got, if you go up a little bit and then to the right, you can see the symbol that we just spoke about, run, where it's the man, and then you can see the fire. There's sort of like 2 books there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So look, just it's genius, isn't it?
Yeah, man. I get it. Yeah, man.
What a good way to learn, like for someone like myself, or for like even if you're like for my son who's like 17 months old, like to be able to have all of these like illustrations mixed with the typography.
Yeah. Just thinking, Lewis. Just Lewis. Just check who did do it. So I'm not just, you know what I mean. Just check who did do it, so I can fact check. But yeah, they're awesome, lads. Well, that's a nice project as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
All them little. Oh, is it?
Who is it?
I don't know. Can we say? You might be better saying that than me, lad.
I guess it's Shaolan.
Shaolan. Yeah, nice. I don't know why I thought it did. I swear Norma Bar was something like that. But anyway,
yeah, I was convinced he had as well, if I'm honest.
Just let's cross check it. Type in Norma Bar Chinese. And see if anything comes up. Jesus Christ.
Oh, this is going to be the thing where it was Japanese that he did.
Oh,
I can see it happening.
Oh, no. I had to cut this bit. Then we're going to get cancelled.
What are you going to do?
On the first episode. Had a good run, guys.
Oh, what's going on, Lewis? Has Norma Bar got anything to do with these?
That second link there. Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, he did do it. Fucking. So he must have illustrated them with the author, right, or something like that.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
I mean, look at the fire, Hua, like, it's genius. It's so smart. So
that my reference was on point. What else have we got, Lewis? This is cool. This is sick, actually. Do you know what I mean? So it's for like a festival, I think, or something in New York, right, Lewis? Something like that.
Yeah, so I think this is obviously if you read the title, Gov Ball gets a classic NYC identity. I mean, we could go through and read all of this. There's a lot of type, but if you look at the posters,
they're awesome. But what I love how they've activated this, like they've branded this up, do you know what I mean? So obviously it's got like, as you go further down, like they have like little icons and stuff, which logo ties, do you know what I mean? So it works down at a small scale, But I just love how they've activated them posters.
Yeah, so it's for a festival, right?
Yeah. But again, it runs through, and again, like looking at what you're doing, Nick, like this would be like, see there, do you know what I mean? How they've made it work lovely in a little icon, and I love how it's come from like a design icon, you know what I mean? They pulled it up from there. But
yeah,
like,
it looks great going from the Gov Ball one to the big one there. And I like seeing stuff. I don't know if it's just been happening more recently, or I've just been noticing it more since I've been doing all this kind of illustrative lettering. But I do really appreciate when something a bit more official takes it and just blows it up, because it just gives it a lot of character.
It does. It's a bit of like you talk about breaking the rules and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It feels quite fresh in a way.
What's nice about that is they've done a really good job to capture the busyness of New York as well. And when I was reading into it, like the colours that they chose, like lots of yellows to represent the taxis, the sort of the blues to represent the concrete jungle. So you've got all these sort of all the brick in the background as well. You sort of get an essence of New York from it as well, don't you?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Awesome.
The illustrations of the smoke and everything, is the little steam. That's very New York.
Yeah.
Coming out of the things on the floor.
Steam vent.
Okay, something like that.
Yeah, nice. I think that section went all right. It wasn't that bad. It's kind of, you know what I mean? I think
we did some cool stuff.
So listen, Nick, hit us up with your Lewis. If you can just pull up Nick's Instagram page for his letters on his typography, obviously, and if you've got any other plugs where people can find you, any dream clients you might have, anything, you know what I mean? Hit us. Sweet,
man. Yeah, I mean, mainly Instagram's where I show most of my work.
Yeah. Have you built a little website for it or microsite for it yet?
I did. I took it down just because I know I'm not going to be doing it as much as I start my new job in Australia.
Yeah.
But when eventually I'll get back into it, I'm hoping to still carry on doing painting if I can when I'm there. I just need to find a space to do it, all this sort of stuff. Yeah. So when it all kicks off again, I'll recreate the website.
I love the bollocks one. That's sick. So that's at Nick Letters, innit? Do you know what I mean? Obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, listen, thank you so much, Nick.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much.
It's been great.
And I will poll you before you go to Australia. So we're actually still on our time.
Yeah, man. Please do.
Go on, lad. Listen, I appreciate you, bro.
Been a pleasure.
Nice one, man. Always a pleasure.
See you later, guys.
Love,
bro. Thank you.
Love. Bro, that was sweet, lad. Like,
what a guy.
What a guy. It, bro. Like, he's smashing it. Them references at the end, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think that was a good first episode. And again, like, to kind of conclude again, thank you if you are listening. We appreciate still that it's a little bit raw.
Yeah, we butchered it at the end a little bit, didn't we? I think we dragged a few bits out, but we'll get better at this. Like we'll sort you out, Lewis, as well, with all the right references, and we'll try and get the things flowing a bit.
I know, dropping me in on it. Hey, what you doing?
I know. No, but we do, and again, we really fucking appreciate you if you are listening so early, and we do want to really make a thing for this and celebrate people who are doing great stuff and inspiring people. That is the main source of why we're doing this. So please like, share, subscribe. Don't be a hater. Help us out trying to help more people out. You know what I mean? And again, we appreciate you.
Nice one. It's been emotional.
Thank you very much, people. That was the first episode of the What Does Your Mum Think podcast. We go again. Bye.